Welcome to TAO Living, the Art of Living podcast with your host, Corleto, where you will be supported to remember that you are the driver and not the vehicle, so that you can walk your life in trust.
Life's challenges, crises, often bring with them stress, fear, and uncertainty. Just think about the recent wildfires in California, or the hurricanes that ripped through the southeast and caused massive damage through the flooding and the high winds with the trees down. Look, life happens, and it's gonna continue to happen. And as time progresses, it's actually gonna increase in frequency with the climate changes and political instability around the world. The question is, are you fully equipped to handle them, right? A lot of people aren't. Think about the 2008 financial crash, when people thought, hey, I'm set financially, right? They had their savings or their retirement funds, and it all went away. And look what happened to a lot of people. They lost everything. How about 2020? Nobody saw that coming. Lockdowns, mask wearing, and family feuding, and the entire world wrapped in fear. That was an unforeseen event. And there's going to be more unforeseen events coming. The question is, are you prepared to handle them, right? So, boy, the first few decades of my life, I wasn't. And when life showed up like that, I'd get run over. And what I mean by run over is overwhelmed, stressed out, didn't have the tools to process what happened, let alone how to come out of it with ease and grace. And it was painful psychologically, physically, and definitely financially. And it happened way too many times. And I said, this is enough. There's got to be a better way. So I dove in, and I literally traveled the world searching out experts in all different fields. Psychology, neurology, spirituality, ancient wisdom, dove into breath work in huge ways, both in the ancient yoga realm and also in freediving. I mean, I covered the grounds to look for the tools, and I've been a practicing chiropractor for over 30 years. And finally found a way, a better way. And I've put it into a process that I've been serving my students and clients for years. And of course, in my own personal life, I'm a student of the work. And I would love to share that process with you, so you don't need to experience the painful and oftentimes really expensive life lessons that happen when crises show up, when life shows up, right? The blindsided events. The stuff that you know that's in your face, yeah, you got that, cool. But the stuff that you don't even know that's around the corner, that's what I'm talking about, right? Now, stay with me, right? If you don't know me, I'm not coming from fear. I don't do that. This is real, practical, and straightforward. Life is up, and it will continue to be so, right? And if you don't have the tools in place, when it does show up, unfortunately, like most people, you get run over, right? Let's change all that. So welcome to what I call the 5-Day Finland Immersion, where I'm going to share the process. It's basically it's a 3-step process with 3 secrets, right? And the secrets, I call them secrets right now because I didn't know them. And as I travel the world, the majority of people don't either. Very few people around the world know them. But we're going to unpack them and teach them and implement them into your system in just 5 days. So that's really the guarantee. You'll become bulletproof at the end of 5 days. What do I mean by bulletproof? When life shows up, you'll be able to stay grounded and present no matter how intense it is, while others around you might be crumbling. Boy, I used to, not anymore. And I've been through some stuff, and I've supported people through some stuff where quite intense, yet here, standing in the fire, right? Because remember, if you go down, not only is it not good for you, you're no good to anybody else. So the gift of being able to handle what comes your way with not only grace, but psychological fortitude, physiological stamina, and you don't take a hit financially. These are huge. So what does that look like? Let me unpack it this way. When I like to play in the fire. So if I'm going to go to an event, it needs to be real deal, start to finish. What do I mean by real deal? When I put on an event, I do so as if I was going to attend. And if I'm going to attend, the people that have put it on better deliver. And better deliver in the goods, whatever they're offering, right? So if it's transformation, then they better have facilitators and work to generate the transformation. Again, the work's on me, but the space has to be held, the skill set, the mindset, the tools, all of that has to be there. So we used to put on, my partner and I used to put on healing retreats for 15 years in the Caribbean, working with wild dolphins. So I'm going, if I wanted to go to something like that, what would it need to have? Cool, great environment. Well, on a little tiny island in the Caribbean with immaculate clear waters, yeah. Nature, right? So ocean breeze. We connected with wild dolphins out in the ocean, so we rented a yacht, a 40-foot catamaran, hired a U.S. Coast Guard captain, certified captain. We hired a chef to cook all the meals, and we had a space to do the work on land, right? So we would do some work, inner work, worked on the body, worked on the mind, worked on the spirit and the soul. Went out on the boat, engaged with the wild dolphins, had downtime in nature, right? Just immaculate. So laughter, crying, getting real, time to integrate, critical. And then back at it, right? And then it builds and it builds and it builds and true transformation occurs. So that's what we did. And that's what we're doing here. So the 5-Day Finland Immersion consists of unpacking these 3 steps with their frameworks, right? So the first secret is becoming bulletproof. What do I mean by that? Life can throw whatever it wants at you, and you're golden, right? So let me be clear. This doesn't mean you're avoiding life, right? Or life doesn't happen to you anymore. That's nonsense. It's still going to come. It always will. But you won't get mowed over, right? You won't get run down and sitting in the corner like I used to, crying and sucking my thumb, right? So the framework, the pieces that we'll unpack that are imperative to become bulletproof are what I call managing your environment. So the new science of epigenetic, right? The old science was genetic determinacy theory, that whatever you have genetically is what you got. Not true. So epigenetics says it's what activates the genes determines what genes get expressed. And the environment is critical, like that's the whole source. Well, we're going to deal with your external environment, meaning we're going to help you clean it up, but more importantly, your internal environment. What's in there, right? Because that changes everything, your biochemistry, your neurochemistry, and so we'll do that through what I call the 3 Bs, brain, breath, and body. In the brain, we'll deal with not only the conscious thoughts, but more importantly, the subconscious, because as neuroscience says, we're leading our life with 95% of our subconscious mind, not the 5% of the conscious mind. That means we need to get in there and clean up the old patterns that are inside of there, right? So we'll definitely do that. Breath, whoa, huge piece. Respiration is part of life as long as you have a pulse. Conscious breathing, totally different reality. And what you can do with conscious breathing is, this video would have to be 6 days long in order to unpack that. It's profound. So we're going to teach multiple different styles of breath work, not just teach it, we'll be going through it so you can experience it, learn it, and have those tools for a lifetime. And then, of course, body, right? It's the only one you got. When you ruin it, where are you going to live? So we're going to get into dynamic movement, sacred movements. One of the co-founders of the event, my partner, Lydia Ometo, is a high-level yoga teacher, yoga practitioner, had a yoga school, certified hundreds of yoga instructors. She'll be running us through daily processes to activate our body, open it up so we can bring it online and get it running to its full capacity, plus other things, some Tibetan rites, sacred movements. So brain, the 3 Bs. What else? Increase your neurological flexibility. It's part of the framework. What does that mean? just make it adaptability, right? So when you have a high neurological flexibility, you get to adapt to life across the entire border, so the umbrella of life, right? So for instance, if it was 70 degrees and then it dropped to 20, right, which is where I'm standing right now, it is, if you have a low level neurological flexibility, your physiology can't process that and you get sick. If it's high, like mine is, you can stand here when it drops that much of a change, not an issue, because you can adapt. The boss walks in and fires you, low level, depression, anxiety, or you go postal. High level, you thank them for the opportunity to go find a new career. Different outcomes. And more under neurological flexibility. So the work we're going to do in the 5 days will radically increase your neurological flexibility. And then the fourth component is shifting from victim consciousness to victor consciousness. The early part of my life, oh my goodness, right? I get it. Most people don't want to even attach that term to themselves. I sure didn't, right? With the old male ego, I'm not a victim, but I was. I was in victim consciousness and I didn't even know it. Real simply, if you're blaming anyone for anything in your life, anyone or anything, you're in victim consciousness, right? Not a judgment, just straight up. So when we come out of victim consciousness, we come out of the passenger seat of our life and we get into the passenger seat of our life, victor consciousness, where we take ownership of everything that we brought to ourselves. See, not only didn't I know I was being a victim, I had no clue because I was unconscious that what I was experiencing that was not fun, I was also creating because of patterns in my subconscious mind, as all humans do. But we're going to clean it all up. Yep. Second secret, the lightning fast method, quantum leap transformation. And it's the lightning fast method to remove doubts, overcome fears, and heal deep traumas without years of therapy. Now I say that because that's what my partner and I do for decades now. We have hundreds of clients, thousands of clients actually, that have quantum leap transformations, meaning they've seen experts for years, paid lots of money, high-end experts, yet either their mind's a mess, their body's a mess, they're on meds, or all the above, and nothing's getting better. And they're frustrated because they've done everything. And they meet us, we put them through this process, and within a few days, boom, mind's back online, spirit's back online, body's back online, off all the meds. Stuff that looks miraculous. It is, but it's not a miracle to us because we know we're dealing with universal laws. Yep. Making fear your ally. This is a huge piece. In the early part of my life, boy, when fear showed up, I was paralyzed and I couldn't take action. When you learn a different shift to dance with fear as an ally, it's a game changer, right? And writing your own scripts. This is huge. Between 0 and 6 as children, we are in a theta brainwave conscious brain pattern. And what that means is we are just open to suggestion. This is this state that hypnotists or hypnotherapists put people in order to access the subconscious mind and support them because they're now in the subconscious mind because of the suggestibility. So as kids, we're just taking everything in as truth. So we have all these programs stuck in there, even if they're not true, right? But in the providence of the mind, what one believes is either true or on its way of becoming true, even if it's not actuality. So writing your own script so you can live the life that you really desire and deserve. Huge difference, game changer. Third secret, breaking barriers. The subtext of that is learning to become comfortable being uncomfortable. For years, I spent so much time trying to avoid situations that were going to be uncomfortable. Can't grow there. So I finally embraced the philosophy to become comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's where growth occurs. And all the modern sciences show us that to be true. And so we'll teach you this process so you can incorporate that into your life, right? So that sounds all nice. This isn't theory. So the greatest way to learn is to be in the environment like the old craftsman and artisan, right? So the midwife and the apprentice, the blacksmith and the apprentice, whatever the art form was, because they would teach them, show them, and then make them do it. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to teach you this stuff. We're going to show it to you, and then we're going to have you go through it on a regular basis every single day, multiple times a day, to get it into your system. And you have my word, if you engage, in 5 days, you'll come out bulletproof. Whee! But that's not all, because as part of this process, so Lydia and I, my partner, are just part of the team. The other part of the team is we have hired the current world champion, world record holder, Joanna Nordblad. So she's also a world-class freediver. She has the current world record for swimming under 3 feet of ice for 103 meters, or over the length of a football field, with no wetsuit, no fins. There's a Netflix documentary called Hold Your Breath, The Ice Die. She's the feature star of that. And there's also another gentleman who's the judge and helped organize the event. His name is Antero Yoki. And he's also going to be part of the team with us in Finland to help unpack all this information and wisdom. Yep. So every single day, Joanna's going to be teaching us inside, showing, and then we're going to have the opportunity to go out and get in the freezing cold water to use the element of water and the thermal of the cold to also activate stuff in our body and our mind. I hired her for that one reason, because she is bulletproof. You cannot swim under 3 feet of ice with no way out if your mind goes offline. If you become afraid, if you panic, you won't make it, you won't survive. And that's what she'll be teaching us every single day for the week. As I told you, when I put on an event, I put on an event. But here's the beauty. It's all done. All you have to do is fly to Finland. We'll pick you up at the airport. We'll bring you to this reserve sanctuary in Finland. That's part of a UNESCO heritage site in nature, where they have the cleanest lakes of all of Finland. We've rented a private villa just for our group, right? So we'll all be staying in the same beautiful, huge house. Our meals will be prepared for us by Finnish chefs. And we get to dive in and do the work, right? Liddy, myself, Joanna, and Antero we're the team, and we'll be running you through the process. We'll be doing the work too, so right along with you. Intimate group of only 12 people. As of this recording, 5 spaces are already committed, so there's only 7 left. We choose intimate so we know that we can get to the depth of the work quicker. The larger the group, harder it is to manage that space to allow people to get real and to get the one-on-one transformational work. Yeah, so that's why it's super intimate. So what's the investment for this? Well, straight up, if you were to hire Joanna for a week, hire me for a week, hire Liddy for a week, hire Antero for a week, rent the villa in Finland, hire the chefs, get the transportation to and from the airport and all the other things that come with it, that costs you over 50 grand, straight up. Of course, I'm not going to charge you 50 grand, but it cost you more than that, and it would be well worth it. But let me ask you, let's say it did. Let me ask you, would it be worth it if the 5-day immersion, in 5 days, you became bulletproof, knowing that when life shows up from this day forward, you aren't going to get taken out. You won't get taken out emotionally, psychologically, or financially, because you'll be bulletproof. You'll have the tools to process whatever life throws at you, grounded and in grace. And you'll be there for your loved ones and your community, because you'll still be standing. Would it be worth it to you? It would be worth it to me, for sure. Would it be worth it to you to, when the next crisis shows up, to not go into, let's say, depression or anxiety? Like, again, look at the 2008 or the 2020, these big impacts, or the natural disasters, the California fires or the hurricane here in the southeast. where people lost everything. They lost their homes. Some of them lost family members, and that's a challenge, right? And that throws people sideways. Would it be worth it to you to be able to process that kind of challenge in a moment? It would to me. But I'm not going to charge it $50K. $5K. Actually, it's not even $5K. It's $4,997 for everything you just heard and more. Because we're also going to support you with 3 pre-calls before the event in March. Lydia and I will do 2 separate calls where we're going to get you prepped and ready to hit the ground running when you get to Finland. Meaning we're not just going to show up in Finland and start the event. We're going to prepare you in all kinds of ways before the event. And Joanna, the world record holder, is also going to do a pre-call, and she's also gifted us with a book she wrote around breath exercises for freediving and cold immersion. And I'll present that to each one of you that join us. So she's going to do a private coaching call with us before the event as well. And after the event, even more critical, Lydia and I are going to do 2 post-call events to help you integrate, implement, and hold you accountable. I've led events for decades, and one of the things I see in other events, which is people go to some place when they're finished, it was more of a rah-rah, and wow, that was amazing, but it all fizzles because they don't integrate it or implement it. We're going to make sure that you do. So that's what these 2 post-private coaching calls are for. We will assist you to keep integrating, implementing, and hold you accountable to what you're up to. Yeah? So at this junction, below the video is everything I've just said to you in the written form, right? So you can take your time and read that or rewatch the video. There's also a link, and the link is to an application. You can't even register yet. So it's an application, simple, 5 questions. Name, email, and then the 5 questions. Once you hit submit, you'll instantly be presented with a second page where there's 2 options. On one side, it's, hey, if it's, game on, I'm in, cool. Click the button, register. If this sounds really good, but you have some questions, click the button to book a call. You can set up a time that works for you. We'll get on the phone, handle all your questions. And if it's a yes, love to have you. If it's a no, it'll be great to meet you either way. Now, like I said, it's not $50K, it's 5. It's not even 5, it's $49.97. And if you make a single payment, then before the early bird time frame is gone down below, you'll save $497. So it's only $4,500 for everything I just described. This is life-changing. This is not a retreat or an experience. This is a fundamental life shift that you will apply tools that will set you free from this point forward. What's that worth? You can also start for just $1,667, $1,667 today. You can join us, and then it would just be 2 more additional payments of that same on the credit card, 2 monthly payments. So that's a financing option, right? That's the investment. That's out of the way. Why do this? Because if you don't and you're not equipped, life is going to continue to happen. When you're bulletproof, non-issue. The fear of the unknown, the fear of the unforeseen, it's off the plate. It's, it's not a belief. It's a knowingness that you're golden. You'll be able to handle whatever life throws at you, and you deserve it. So we'd love to see you. Click the button, fill out the application. There's no commitment, you have nothing to lose. And then if you're in, cool, let's play. And if you have questions, book a call. Thanks for being here. Get bulletproof, and until next time, abundant blessings. Ciao.
To connect further and dive deeper, you can always reach me at my website, loucorleto.com, LOUCORLETO, or in the social channels, Facebook, loucorleto.official, Instagram, Lou_Corleto, Twitter, Lou_Corleto, and LinkedIn. Until next time, remember who you be. Abundant blessings.